For another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the best possible damage farming team you can use in AWTD. This is a little more veteran or late game player friendly rather than being a new player friendly team. So if you're a new player, go ahead and check out my other video on the beginner damage farm grind. It's a lot more simpler to understand, but this one is going to work a little bit differently than that one. So on this team, you can see we have Idol. Idol is for obvious reasons. We're going to have her for buff and for money. We have Rukia for freeze 2 and also her ability. Freeze 2 is really OP. I'm sure I don't have to say anything. She also has an ability to fully freeze the entire map and all the units on it. So she is a really good pickup, and personally, I would use her over Gojo any day of the week. So keep that in mind that she is a lot better to use than Gojo is. So if you have Gojo on your team, just take him off. He's pretty useless in damage farming unless you're running with a bunch of people and you just want more support. But overall, Rukia is going to be better than Gojo because the whole point of this is to stack up the enemies as much as possible and not just slow them down. We obviously have Power Reaper for various reasons of things. Power Reaper has an ability to reverse the entire map, which is going to also affect how much units we are stacking and stuff like that. Again, with another person being Shinji or Wizard Captain, he has the reversal, and he also has just a small kind of path clear ability as well. The path clear is just going to delay us some more time at the end because it's not going to actually kill much of anything. But it is a very, very good choice to use, and his reversal is extremely OP. So the unit we're going to be using, for example, is obviously Tyrannai. And we don't have that much damage, and we need to get 10 billion in this run. So obviously, this is a very small amount compared to that. Average stats, you know, not too crazy. But this is going to be our example, and we are using Dark Flower for the Flower of AWTD lead. And she also has Tamer and all of the other stuff. She has Fear and all that, all the good stuff that you could get on a summoner unit. But just to keep in mind that you don't need to bring someone like Kujaku or anything like that. Power Reaper has a chance to apply Fear, and since you have 4 of them and he randomizes his attack, there's always a chance you're going to get Fear and all this other stuff from him. So you don't really need to bring someone like Kujaku. Plus, you have to keep in mind that Freeze 2 also increases melt damage, so your units are naturally going to do more damage to frozen units anyways. A lot of people don't know this, but melt damage does do a lot more than you think, just other than freezing them. And keep in mind, for Rukia, it does freeze the entire map. And I'll demonstrate this in here, that it does in fact increase damage, even though most people don't actually know that. So this is the team we're going to be using just to evo the Tyrannai or get her damage. She's at 44 million, and all we need to do is get 10. So we will give a good demonstration of this team and how it works. Now, if you want to use anybody, obviously the first slot is primarily for a leader. You don't actually need to bring anybody specifically. Let's say you want to get damage on Madara. You could run Madara with his ninja category and bring an extra support or just an extra damage unit. But in this case, we are going to be using Dark Flower purely for lead, and then Tyrannai, she's going to have her charm and damage anyways. So it is a really, really easy task to pick up. Next up, we're going to do is we're going to go into the red element stage, and we are going to do, wait, I clicked the wrong one. I'm being really stupid right now. There we go. So we're going to go into red element stage, and we're going to do Challenger. So if you're a little bit newer to the game, just do Insane. It's going to be easier for you, but I personally love doing this on Challenger. It just improves a little bit more, and I'll show you how to place everything and how to get started as well if you want to run this exact team. As far as placement goes, it is very, very easy. I feel like people make this way too complicated, and once you repeat doing this 1,000 times like I have, it becomes a very easy task. All you need to do is place Power Reaper right here, and then you're going to put Idol right here. You're going to click Ready, set everything up, click Auto Skip, put it on 2 or 3 times depending on whichever one you have, You're going to go ahead and use the idle buff. You're going to get another Power Reaper down, or you can just focus on money. Normally, one is more than enough to cover and all that good stuff. So the next thing you really want to focus on is you do want to progressively get food as you're going through this, as food is going to be your biggest problem when it comes to doing this on Challenger or Insane. I don't recommend doing this on normal mode. It takes way too long to rack up that damage in normal mode, and you're going to be sitting here for far too long. And obviously, utilizing your time is the best possible way of getting that damage very quickly, even if you have to do multiple runs. And I guarantee you a lot of people may or may not say that this makes sense, but at the same time, I'll be more than happy to show that this works very, very well. So all you need to do is get Power Reaper to his hill upgrade by wave 6. That is when they come out. And what you're going to do is immediately, right after this, you're going to place whoever you're farming. Generally, anywhere in the front is usually pretty good. So as you can see, Tyrannai is a full AoE. So getting her damage is going to be pretty effortless anyways. But basically, you want them to be capable of hitting this little square right here. If that square is within range, then they're doing just fine. So we're going to be putting Tyrannai right here. Just to give some more examples, if you have a line AoE, you can place them in the same spot. And all you're going to have to do is just click this button here and set them to last. If they are a circle, set them to strongest. All right. It does work a little bit differently, but circle usually does perform a little bit better on strongest. But in Tyrannai's case, she is a full AoE, so it doesn't matter what she's on. She's going to do the same exact thing regardless. So now that we have all that set up, next you're going to set up your Shinji, which this is the best spot for him right here. You're going to place him here, set him to last, and upgrade him all the way up. And what he's going to do is he's going to start pushing them back once they start getting a little bit more stronger than where they're at right now. And it is going to perform very well. And this is where the units are going to start stacking up a little bit harder. You basically want to keep pushing them into that spawn so that your units up here are getting the damage they do need. So now that you have your Shinji set up in this particular run, you're going to start doing your Rukias. And what she's going to do is she is going to freeze them in place. And we're going to do this. Put 2 up here. The reason why you want to have Rukia up in the front is primarily because she only has a 40% chance. So you want to try to get as much stackable as possible up in the front. And then you can place your other one or your last one back here a little bit further. And it can be a little bit of a tedious process, but once you get this down, it works astonishingly well. And it becomes a very easy task to do. Obviously, we have our Dark Flower up here as well. And we are just going to place her right about here. And don't need to worry about her too much. She is just going to be here for leader and for a little bit extra damage. And she does proc fear as well from her big dude. So it's going to come in a little handy as well. Place her here. Alright, so at this point it's just a waiting game. Nothing's going to get through. I'm probably going to cut. Yeah. Alright, so we have everything on the ground completely maxed out. And at this point we're just playing a waiting game to see how long it's going to take these units to get past. If you ever find yourself running out of food, just keep an eye on the bars and stuff like that. You don't have to be hard pressed to feed your units every 10 seconds. All you need to do is just keep spamming this feed 50 food button, and eventually you'll get to the point of what you needed. But as you can see, they're not getting past almost at all. They're getting reversed, frozen, freezed, bleed, tamed, all this other stuff. You know, you're going to be pumping out a lot of status effects from this team, from this particular team, and Power Reaper does have a chance to apply fear as well. So there's always a chance you're dealing extra damage to them anyways, and it's a good thing to keep in mind. So at this point, we just need them to really start getting past, which is going to be a little bit difficult for them in the stage anyways, but our Dark Flame Lover is dealing reduced damage to these units. So, but we can take a look at here and see that Tyrannai has done 400 million damage so far at wave 35. And I guarantee you by the time I get out of this, I think all of her things are going to at least do 5 billion minimum, I would say. It is pretty easy. You can see how they stack perfectly all in here, and most of them are going to be in this little spawn block right here, and that's normally where you want them to be and stay. So once you're starting to get to those later stages where they start getting past, just keep an eye on the back, and what that is going to do is it's going to give you an opening to ensure that you can use your Power Reaper ability. Okay, well, I clicked that anyways. I didn't mean to click that. You can you can obviously wait, but so once they're all stacked up on here, all you're gonna do is use Time Freeze when they're all up here, especially if you're using a line or a circle unit. What that's gonna do is it's gonna stack them way more than you would expect. And then once they're all unfrozen, you can use your Shinji ability just to keep them from getting to the back. So you can tell here, all of our Tyrannais have about 2 billion damage, which is pretty nice. I did use that Power Reaper ability way too early because of my mouse clicking by accident, but it is very easy to get to this point, and you can see that she is still racking up damage. We are running out of food, unfortunately, which is going to hinder us just a little bit. But you can tell we got our damage in one run, and all we need to do is go back to lobby. But someone like Tyrannai has a little bit of an advantage because she does have full AoE. But the problem with that is that she also doesn't do that much damage to begin with. Even with lead and buff, she's still lackluster a little bit. So we're going to go over. She started with 44 million damage. And we're going to go ahead and see where her damage is at now. We have 11 billion. So there you go, a rare plus, not that high damage, okay rerolls, no limit break, max level, we basically bazillioned her entire deal damage number. And as you can see, it is very easy to deal damage even with some of the worst units in the game. Although she does have an advantage for being full AoE, you can use this tactic for just about anybody. And this team is absolutely atrocious. You will struggle a little bit with LRs naturally. Running teams of people with those is always going to be easier. It's still going to be time taking, but I can promise you that about 90% of your EVOs you can get damage on this team in one run with little to no effort. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.